It's my pleasure to introduce a gentleman. Many people have contributed to the success of our show over the years, and here's a young gentleman that joined our show quite a few years ago and has been with us many times throughout those years and has contributed very much to the success of our show, and I was very delighted that he just came back tonight to join us for a couple of little spots to remind us of the fun that he's given our audiences over the years. So ladies and gentlemen, he is a very talented Gold Coaster, and I'd like to give him a warm welcome, Mr. Tony Alcock. Let's hear it for Tony, yes?
I'm going to tell you this, I shouldn't, but I will. My wife went for a driving test today. She got back, I said, how'd you go? She said, I got 18 out of 20. I said, that's good. She said, not really. They were pedestrians. They shouldn't live near a car, really. I mean, her idea of double parking is on top of another car. She rang me the other day. She said, look, the car won't start. And I said, well, what's the matter with it? You got any idea? She said, well, I think there's water in the carburettor. I said, how would you know if there's water in the carburettor? Well, come down and have a look at it. Where have you parked it? She said, in the Nerang River. Well, we're not getting along. I don't mind admitting that to you. I really don't. We're not getting along. I even went out and bought a waterbed in the hope that it'd save our marriage, but ever since we've had the damn thing, we've just drifted apart. I call it the Dead Sea. I'm sitting up all night waiting for the tide to come in. Yes, I think it's my own fault, really. You know, well, you know, I do have a problem, but I've been seeing a doctor about it, you know. One of those problems we gentlemen get. You know, you can't sort of quite perform. You've got it too. I'll recommend this to you. My doctor sent me to a Chinese herbalist, and he's put me on powdered rhinoceros horn. I've been taking it for about 3 weeks now, and everything's going well. The only trouble is, every time I get excited, I get a sudden urge to charge at a Land Rover. Not that the wife and I do that sort of thing much anymore. I mean, you know, we're at the stage now where we fool around till I get it up and then bet on which way it's going to fall. You know, that's what life's about at the moment. Actually, I shouldn't tell you this, but I will. The last time we made love, she said to me, she said, Alcock, she said. Alcock, she said, let's make love like the cats do it. And then the silly cow fell off the roof. But no, I think it's my own fault, because it all goes back. Our problems, you know, all go back to Mother's Day last year. Because I did what everybody does. You go up to them, don't you, fellas, and you say to them, now, what would you like for Mother's Day? And what do they come back with? I don't care as long as it's useful. So I bought her a tombstone. She can roll pastry on it till she needs it. Even had it engraved, to my loving wife. Cold as always. Well, Father's Day rolled around. Went down for breakfast, there's a parcel on the table. I opened it up, tombstone. She got it engraved and all. To my loving husband, stiff at last. I said, that's lovely, that is. I said, you keep this up. She said, I wish you could. I said, don't start that again. I said, look, if you keep this up, I'm going to pack my bags and I'm going to move to Bali. And she said, what do you want to go to Bali for? And I said, well, in Bali, they pay you $10 every time you make love. She said, I'm coming with you. And I said, what on earth for? She said, to see how you're going to manage on $20 a year. I said, look, I'm going to be 40 next birthday. When I get to 40, I'm going to divorce you and I'm going to marry a 20-year-old girl. She said, suits me fine. When I get to 40, I'll marry a 20-year-old fella. I said, what on earth for? She said, well, 20 goes into 40, a damn sight more than 40 goes into 20. But I didn't come out to tell you that. I digress. I came out to tell you a fable. Now, Barbara, do you know what a fable is? It's a story with a moral. Do you know what a moral is? I didn't think you would know anything about morals, actually, but I'd like to tell you about the Sultan of Kumquat. Now, the Sultan of Kumquat had 999 wives, and he found that in his old palace there was no longer room for his 999 wives. So he decided to build a new palace, bigger and better, just up the road. And he found the perfect site, 7 miles down the road. And he built a beautiful palace, and in his wisdom, he decided that he'd keep his wives in the old palace. I mean, I suppose he got sick of waking up every morning and finding 999 pairs of knickers hanging over the shower rail. I mean, I don't know. So, the move was made. And then he had a problem. His wives were 7 miles away. And if he was feeling in the mood, he had a long walk. So he employed one of the local village boys. A nice young man, 15 years old, strapping youth. And every time he felt like one of his wives, the Sultan would send the boy 7 miles down to the road to the old palace to bring back one of his wives. 7 miles to the new palace. And this function the boy performed admirably for 3 months. And then one day, as he was going down to the old palace to pick up one of the wives, he fell over, dead. And it just goes to prove, ladies and gentlemen, it's not the sex that kills you, it's the running around after it that does.